Hello everybody and welcome back to the United Stand. It is my preview show for Manchester United versus Tottenham Hotspur at Spurs' ground. It is away, it is the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and Manchester United have their first away game of the Premier League season. Spurs got a draw against Brentford, but they were away as well in that game. This is their first home game of the season. New manager, they're going to want to put on a show. They're going to want to go and beat United. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough game. I do think Man United can win it, but it's going to be tough, especially after watching the performance against Wolves on Monday night. If we play anything like that, we'll definitely get beat. Stuff needs to change. I have faith that Ten Hag has been working these players throughout the week and behind closed doors has been making some real progress this week, especially if we're heading down to London to face Spurs this weekend, which we are doing. But I want to get into the starting 11s that I've got for each team. So, starting off with Manchester United, this is my starting 11. My predicted 11, slightly what I want. There could be a couple of changes in there, but as you can see, there is Onana in goal, Wan-Bissaka, Varane, Martinez, Shaw, Casemiro, Mount, despite what a lot of you guys would think, Bruno. I've gone with Sancho on the left, Rashford up front and Antony on the right, but honestly, I wouldn't mind switching it up so Sancho's playing as a false nine and you have Rashford coming off from the left because Rashford was terrible up front. Let's be honest, he wasn't really getting much service, but he was terrible up front. Like, he didn't have a good performance, but I like Rashford off the left. Garnacho I've dropped, and he's the only player I have dropped. Nobody played well. The only standouts really were Varane and Wan-Bissaka and Onana. But the reason I've dropped Garnacho out of everyone is because I think late on in the game, Spurs away, you could need that winner. Who do I want off the bench running at tired legs with the directness, with the speed? It would be Garnacho. And I think, especially because he didn't really look too comfortable against Wolves starting, I'd bring him off the bench. And for me, Sancho made an impact and everything started coming through him when he came on. So I think he deserves that starting spot in the 11. Wouldn't also be surprised if he plays Mount on the left and he plays Rashford up front. I won't be surprised if he does that. Won't be surprised if Ten Hag plays Bruno on the right, brings Eriksen in and then plays, Garnacho and Rashford or Sancho and Rashford. I wouldn't be surprised about that either because I think, if I'm not wrong, Sancho played on the right against Spurs at the end of last season when we played Spurs away. So there could be a couple of changes. Wouldn't mind if Eriksen came into this, but definitely think Mount's going to start despite what people are saying. I think we've got to give him a chance. Everyone paid poorly. I think Tottenham away, we're going to be up for it. And also, when you look at Spurs' 11, which is going to come on the screen for you right now, here you have Vicario, their new keeper, who for me looks quite shaky against Brentford, so that could be a good one to test out. Emerson, Romero, Van de Ven, a new signing, who again didn't look massively comfortable against Brentford, so it could be good for Man United attackers. Ndoye, who right back, I thought looked really good against Brentford. He actually looked like a standout player for them. Skip, Basuma, Kulusevski, Son and Richarlison will be their starting 11. The good thing is, looking at Tottenham's bench, it basically looks non-existent. Man United actually do have players to come off the bench. Tottenham's bench looked shocking when I was looking at the Brentford game. And they don't really have much firepower now Kane has gone. So with Man United's defence, I actually trust them to kind of keep Spurs out. They don't have much attacking threat. Kulusevski and Son and Richarlison, Son's good, but he didn't look great against Brentford. Kulusevski can offer something, but nobody's Harry Kane. And Richarlison just didn't look like he could fill Kane's boots at all. So for me, it's about trying to go and score goals against Tottenham. An interesting fact that I was looking at before this preview, within the last 5 meetings against Spurs, home or away, Man United haven't scored less than 2 goals. So if our defence can be assured, which I think it can be, this could be a good win for Manchester United, especially to kick things off after that dreadful performance at home against Wolves. A good away win will kind of put the cat amongst the pigeons and get Man United back in there and get them back up there, because I think a lot of the fans right now are a little bit worried. I mean, I am, especially looking at the result, but you can't just go off one game. What I would say is they're going to play a high line, which is good for our attackers when we're playing counter-attack. That high line they played against Brentford, I looked at it and I thought, I can imagine, I can picture a bit of that. Rashford's getting captain in my fantasy Premier League team. But thinking about who can hurt us for Tottenham, first one I've gone with is James Maddison. I thought against Brentford he looked brilliant. He got 2 assists. If anything's going to happen for Spurs, it looks like it's going to come through James Maddison. Their midfield with Basuma and Skip isn't that creative, apart from Maddison. He brings that creativity. Udogie on the right was linking up with him very well as well, and he looked like he was providing a bit of an attacking threat. So James Maddison offset pieces, which we struggle at, but now we've got Onana who can come and claim them. Hopefully it'll be better. Not the coming out and taking everyone out kind of passage of play, but he can come and claim crosses like he was doing at the end of the Wolves game. That'd be great. And just don't give away too many free kicks, I would say, and make sure that we have people closing down Maddison. What you don't want is an open midfield with Casemiro being left on his own and James Maddison having a lot of space to pick out them passes and run free. James Maddison is definitely one to watch for me for Spurs. Another player to watch for Spurs for me is Bissouma. And as I said, the midfield isn't that creative apart from Maddison, but what Bissouma brings is something that Manchester United don't have. Well, they don't have it if they play the same formation they did against Wolves. Bissouma brings a surety to their midfield. He's defensive cover. He gets around the pitch. He was playing in some nice passes against Brentford. Didn't really get a look in the whole of last season, but he's starting under Ange and he looks good. He looked good against Brentford, and he's someone that I think our midfield can struggle against physically, and he can win them battles in there. So that's something you need to look at, whether Ten Hag does put either Mount or Bruno on the wing and bring another midfielder in, whether that be Eriksen or McTominay. I'd prefer it to be Eriksen, to be fair, but then again, Eriksen isn't that physical. But just to get a little bit of control on the ball, this is where it would have been good to have Amrabat, and that's why I wish we would have signed Amrabat, but that's not the position we're in at the moment. But when I'm looking at Bissouma, he does provide that defensive cover that Manchester United just don't have. But Man United can get around this. Like I said, Erik Ten Hag could push Bruno or Mount to the wings, which I don't want Bruno on the wings. I wouldn't mind Mount going to the left. I won't mind Mount going to the left-hand side, but I don't want Bruno going out to the right. For me, it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. But what he could do is he could actually change the formation of Bruno and Mount. So against Wolves, Bruno and Mount were playing very high up as basically 2 10s, pushing on. And Casemiro was completely left on his own with a massive amount of midfield space. I don't think Ten Hag will be this naive to go into Spurs away, playing this way. I would personally drop Bruno into the 8 role. We know he could do it at the end of last season. Get him to help Casemiro, hold back a little bit, dictate the play from deep, and have Mount kind of move into Bruno's position where he's pressing, because we know that he's got the legs, we know he can get around the pitch. Bruno's press is very good, by the way, too. But Bruno's so multifunctional, he can do different roles, and they could even switch without the game. What you just don't want to be in a position of where both of them are doing the same job and there's literally no number 8 there kind of to cover anything. But I want to move on to Man United's threats, because I do think Man United are going to win this game. I'm going to tell you my score prediction in a second. But my threats for Manchester United, starting off with Jadon Sancho, a player to watch for me. Did well coming on in the Wolves game, did start to make some nice interlinking passes around the penalty box, actually looked after the ball, which was refreshing to see. We know that front three of Garnacho, Rashford and Anthony just did not work in the slightest. It looked horrendous, to say the least. Sancho came on, got some control in the game. Yeah, it was against tired legs, but still, we started to look a lot more lively when he came on. Also, Spurs away, scored that goal at the end of last season. Always turns up in the big games, Sancho. Liverpool, he got a goal. Chelsea's got a goal against. City scored against. Chelsea scored. I don't know if I said that. Spurs, he scored. He turns up in these big games. The only one left is Arsenal, so hopefully you get that this season. But Sancho's definitely one to watch. And like I said, with the high line, Marcus Rashford, he scored again. Absolutely did Eric Dyer at the end of last season. Eric Dyer, I don't think is going to start in the starting 11, unfortunately. I hope he does, but I don't think he's going to. They have got a new centre-back in. But I still think Rashford can have a field day if they play the high line that they did against Brentford. And plus, at home, first day of the season, not day of the season, first home game at home, their second game of the season, but her first home game in front of the crowd, new manager, he's gonna have to kind of play that attacking football. He's not going to sit back. You would think he wouldn't play the high line he did against Brentford, because they got caught a few times, and I thought, the likes of Manchester United, they're going to eat that up all day, and I think we'll get chance after chance if they play like that. Maybe they'll be a little bit more reserved, but I still think there'll definitely be a chance in behind that Rashford can exploit. I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. He's going to be my captain on Fantasy Premier League. No one's going to go with it either, because people are scared after what happened in the Wolves game that Man United, aren't going to be a threat. That's what makes it even better when he sticks one past the new keeper, who looks a bit shaky anyway. So, and I'm not saying this is going to be an easy game. It's not. It's going to be really, really tough. And I think Man United do need to regain their fitness. I think Spurs look fitter than us, judging the first 2 games of the season. But I definitely think it's a game that we should be going, and we have to win it. If we're serious about this season and we're serious about challenging, we have to win this game. It's a must-win. It is a must-win game, and Spurs are definitely there to be got at. 2-2 against Brentford. They're there to be got at. But lastly, I want to mention Martial should be back for this game. He played in the training game behind closed doors against Everton. He looks fully fit. He's been training in complete training for 2 weeks. If Martial can't be back for this game, what game can he be back for? Seriously. So I expect to see him make an appearance. That could massively benefit us. I don't think he'll start, but I think if we can bring him on at half-time even, 60th minute, something like that, give us something to actually have a recognised striker, that could benefit us a lot and give Rashford that space. And Martial, I've always said it, when he's fit, talent-wise and ability-wise, he's our best forward player. If we can get some minutes out of him, could definitely help the likes of Rashford and Anthony in bringing them into play. Also, I think Bruno works well with Martial too, so that could be good for us. But last but not least, my score predictions. Score prediction, I'm going to go with 2-1 to Manchester United, just scraping through, a 2-1 win. I'm going to go scorers of Rashford and Mason Mount. Come on, Mason Mount. I want you to prove everybody wrong. They've written him off after 70 minutes. Let's go. Let's see what you can do. But I do think we might concede. You know, Tottenham have got threats. But I'm going with 2-1. Get in the comments down below what you guys think. Are you excited for this game? I'm really excited. Our away record, especially against the top 6, if you'd even class Spurs as that, has to change this season. This is going to be the start of it. If we're going to get serious, we've got to win this game. I think we're capable. I think people have written us off too quickly after that Wolves game. But the performance has to change. The tactics has to change. Get in the comments what you guys think. Get your score predictions in. Are you worried? Are you confident? Let me know what you think. And yeah, everyone, let's hope Man United get the Wolves. And yeah, everyone, let's hope Manchester United get the win against Spurs, not Wolves. Let's get the win against Spurs.